Have you ever struggled to know who you are? Well, I have. I grew up in a four-person bicultural household: my mom, dad, older sister, and me. My sister and I were born and raised in Houston, Texas, here in the United States. Our mom was born in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, a city in Mexico where she spent the majority of her life. Our dad was born in Brownsville, Texas, so he is a U.S. citizen, but he was raised right across the border in Matamoros. I am proud to be Mexican American. I am proud of my bicultural identity, my Mexican background, my American background, and their distinctive approaches to life. But being bicultural has also created a lot of confusion. Living on that line between two cultures has sometimes left me feeling as if I don't belong to either. Today, I'm going to share some life experiences with you that will help you better understand what these identity struggles are like and how I've come to appreciate them. During middle and high school, we were required to fill out forms for the STAR and AP test. One of the questions asked about race and ethnicity. I remember being perplexed about which race category to choose. The options were white, black, Asian, Native American, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, or other. There was no option for me, no option for Latino or Hispanic. I didn't want to choose white when I'm not white, and the word other made me feel like I don't exist. It was weird for me to grapple with the idea that the only way for me to identify myself was to check a box that didn't really fit me. I didn't even have time to process the meaning of the choices on the form because we had to rush through the form to get started on the test. So I had to check white on the box. That seemed absurd to me. I even wondered if it was true that Hispanics were considered white. Until later, my sister told me that in the US, Hispanics are considered white. People that belong to one culture might find it simple to fill out a form that asks them to identify their race and ethnicity. But for those of us that belong to multiple cultures, it's difficult to make these choices that don't represent us. This is the struggle of being in two cultures. I have been told so many times that I wasn't Mexican enough or that I wasn't American enough. When my family and I would go to Mexico, my accent revealed that I was American. People would call me gringa or la americana even when I do not appear white. And even if these things were said as a joke, it clearly conveyed that I was not Mexican enough. Sometimes, to hide my American accent in Mexico, my family would tell me not to speak Spanish. Speak English, they would say, of course in Spanish. But I didn't understand why they were telling me to hide the American part of me, or why I needed to hide my true blended identity. Here in the United States, I had the opposite problem. I lost cultural ties to my language. As I became more and more Americanized, my Spanish fluency declined, which made me sad because I was just one step closer to being a white Hispanic. The loss of my cultural ties, like losing some of my Spanish, led to feelings of shame and guilt. An even harder situation to deal with is all the times that I've been told, go back to where you came from. I remember going to work with my mom at a grocery store when I was about 12 or 13. She was unpacking and breaking down boxes while I was putting products on the shelves. At one point in the day, an older white lady began speaking to me rudely. She scolded me, saying that I was purposely not moving out of her way and that if I couldn't hear her, that I should go back to where I came from. She thought I couldn't speak English. I wasn't American enough for her. I had never dealt with a situation like that, and I was so angry and so upset. but my mom told me to let it go. These types of interactions, the rude comments, the looks of disgust, are hurtful. They make me feel like I'm not American. There's a quote from the Selena movie that explains the life of Mexican Americans so well, and that I resonate so much with. It says, "We gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more American than the Americans, both at the same time. We never seem to be enough." So, you might be wondering, how did I come to appreciate my bicultural identity? How did I overcome these challenges of feeling like I'm never enough? First, I became more motivated to embrace both of my cultures, find the best in both, and appreciate what I value about both. I love the Mexican and American traditions I have grown up with. I love the food, music, and art from both cultures, and both have fascinating histories. Second, I became better about not internalizing the comments we receive from others. The comments that we receive from others are not our identities. Outsider opinions do not have the power to influence how we regard ourselves or our cultures. And third, I feel empowered to talk to others who might be struggling with their own bicultural journey, because I think it's important that people share their experience and learn from each other. It's taken me some time to figure out who I am, and I'm still working on it. But being able to talk with people has helped me work through it. Growing up has felt like a collision of multiple worlds. And I would say I'm a professional bicultural person now. But this is what I realized. I am enough, and you are too. Our identities are formed by the cultures we belong to. When you're split between two or more cultures, it's difficult to figure out who you are. But making sure you're active and incorporating both of your cultures or all of your cultures is important and will help you feel and will help that void of feeling like you're never enough. So get in touch with your culture's roots because they are what makes you unique. Love all of your cultures and make sure you create a healthy balance between them. And remember, you are enough. Thank you.